term ego death is so common in popular culture that it seems to have lost all meaning. Though it is often discussed in the psychedelic space, I want to cover ego death in its less popular form, trauma. To define ego death, we should first define ego. Google says that a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance is ego. So ego death is the complete loss of self-identity. Ego death hits you in a lot of ways, but the most common one is an experience that forces you to accept that your own perception of yourself is false. Ego death hurts, but it is often looked at like an experimental medicine. It tastes bad in the moment, but it can be good for you in the long run. Ego death is supposed to burn off the dead wood, leaving room for healthy trees to grow. But like most things, ego death scales, and sometimes the dead wood is 90% of the forest, and everything gets burned to the ground. Now, not getting picked up by your school team seems trivial compared to proposing and getting rejected. And that rejection seems trivial to losing a fight. And losing a fight seems trivial to losing a fight in front of your kids. And all of the above is nothing compared to what Guts and Griffith go through in the series. Both characters experienced a form of ego death, Griffith later opting to buy back his ego using the lives of his friends as currency. Griffith's ego would receive a mortal wound by the king's torturer, leaving him mute, crippled, and helpless. In this scene, Griffith ponders his future, destined to be nursed forever by the person he once rejected, while watching her child by the man that caused his downfall run around. He chose to forsake all of the people that had helped him because he preferred that future over the one in Casca's care, a future where he would be forced to lay his ego to rest permanently. Guts, on the other hand, took no shortcuts. Guts' ego lay in his sword and his monstrous strength, and on many occasions it would receive critical damage. The eclipse, Godo's talk, Casca's PTSD at the sight of him after waking up, and more. They were both great men, Guts and Griffith, and they both were tested in horrific ways. It was almost like the god of their universe created a version of hell that would cause the most misery for both of them. Regardless of morality, Berserk is a story that follows the man who took the hard way after ego death and seeks to teach the reader about struggling through tragedy. Griffith, the villain, chose not to suffer and instead used the suffering of others to fill his place.